What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. That Geeky guy here, and today I'm joined by a very special guest over from Arthouse Syndicate. So I'm just gonna let my guest do the introduction. So he's gonna introduce himself and basically do a quick introduction. Go ahead, man.
All right, hi. My name is Philip Blue. I work with the Arthouse Syndicate. I live in the Washington area in the U.S. So we've got myself here in the U.S. and then Dane out in Vietnam, David in Australia, and so together we came together, formed the Arthouse Syndicate, and yeah.
So, guys, for those who do not know Arthouse Syndicate, could you go over quickly what you guys do and what it's all about, Philip?
So basically, we help the artists bring what they have to the public market. So artist proofs, card signings, art prints, playmat designs, stuff like that. A lot of the artists they have issues coming out to the public and helping to sell the stuff and market it, distribute it, stuff like that. And that's where we come in. We help them out with it.
So when did the idea begin, actually? So is it, Philip, your idea or the Dane's idea? Or, yeah.
It started each of us separately, actually. We all were pretty much doing something similar. So for me, back in, I want to say the release of Monarch, I started looking at things and I was like, hey, I wonder if this game does artist proofs like Magic does. And so I started reaching out to some of the artists, and Daria was actually one of my first that I reached out to, who did Eclipse.
Okay.
And so I reached out to her, I started talking with her, and she said, yeah, I have some. And so I decided to buy some from her. And my locals around me started seeing them, and I was like, well, shipping is expensive.
Yep.
So, like, I was spending probably the same amount on some of the shipping as some of the cards. And so I started making bulk orders together. I made multiple $1,000 purchases just with me and my locals through some of the artists. And so just over time, growing who I have, I was buying for around me. And then some other people around the country started seeing that and was like, hey, can I get in on that? Because domestic shipping's cheaper than international shipping. Meanwhile, through the Flesh and Blood Arthouse on Facebook group that David was running, he was doing pretty much the same thing almost over in Australia, in his region.
I see.
And I was reaching out. I talked to him a bunch about, hey, are you able to get a hold of this artist? Have you been able to get a hold of that artist? And he was doing the same with me. I was able to get a hold of some that he wasn't able to get a hold of. And so we were helping to share and communicate that way. And then I want to say probably around, I can't remember when it was, but the Cincinnati calling here in the U.S. Dane out in Vietnam had started reaching out saying that he had artist proofs of leg taps that he was trying to get auctioned to help grow his community in Vietnam. I helped him out with that auction for the artist proofs of leg taps and a couple of signed IRAs. And from there, we all three of us grew together and was like, hey, why don't we make this something real?
I see. So, do you remember about when was the website was up? The Arthouse Syndicate official website.
The official website probably around late December, early January.
Late December, early January would be just before Everfest?
Just a little bit before Everfest, yeah.
A little bit before Everfest.
Yep.
So basically what you guys are doing is making the purchasing of artist proof more accessible to the people, to wider audience. So you're doing the bulk purchases and then putting up onto the website, and then people can actually go and get it in a more centralized kind of way, so they don't have to actually reach out to a particular artist. So you're actually helping them in that way, saving on shipping and tips like that. So
it makes it to where the artists aren't having to send multiple shipments across the ocean every time of year. So we basically operate like a cycle system to where, like, the goal is for every artist that we have to only have to ship things out twice a year or so.
Yeah.
And so we basically collect the orders throughout that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
send them to the artist as one massive order shipment,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's the only time they have to worry about shipping. They ship it to us, and then we ship it out to the customers.
So this is actually, I think it's a great idea considering all the artists are based in different countries, especially like Russia and countries like that. So shipping is actually a major issue. So you guys kind of solved that. So that's really good. And also, what made you guys decide on the on Flesh and Blood TCG specifically? Why Flesh and Blood? Yeah.
They're the only ones other than Magic right now that I know of that has artist proofs. I'm sure there's probably another game or two out there, but Flesh and Blood, I left Magic. Like, I used to play Magic a lot. I used to play Modern, Legacy, Commander. Standard's too expensive for me, but and then I just got into Flesh and Blood. I got drawn into the art, and I was like, "Whoa, this is a thing. This is amazing." And I started trying to play it. I got my local game store to try it out, and like, we are one of the largest in Washington. I'd say Washington has some of the largest groups nationwide.
I see.
And we have a very strong competitive group around us. And yeah, it's more fun. It's the game itself is just, they've solved the resource system that I had an issue with other games.
Yeah, true. Especially with Magic, where you have to depend on lands and stuff, and in Pokemon you depend on energy. So it's basically quite unique in terms of resource system. So
it seems like most games of Flesh and Blood are actual games, right?
Yeah.
It's like in Magic and other games, it's you just have so many non-games from either like mana flood, mana, like having not enough lands, too much lands. And no matter how well you build your deck and how your ratios are, it'll still happen.
Yep, that's
Flesh and Blood is something.
Now, going back to the artist itself. So what basically is the process of getting new artists? So let's say you have you mentioned that you contacted Daria first, and then what is how let's say did you discuss with the team, with Dane, and then or the other member, and then just to to contact new artists? How do you decide on which artists to contact, or do you just reach out to all of them at once?
We just go after all of them. Some of them actually have been reaching out to us as well, though. We've had a couple artists reach out saying, "Hey, I see what you do. I know this other artist, and LSS is reaching out to me. I'd like to sign up. How do I?" Yeah.
So basically, what happened is once you guys got a few artists and the names out there, Arthouse, Syndicate, then people basically came to you guys instead. So it
started snowballing.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And then, why do you think that artist proof is something that people really like? Because I do see people buy a lot of artist proofs. Maybe they just want to know the thought process of the artist, or how they come up with the art of the card. Could you give some insights into that?
So a lot of people like artist proofs because of their collectability. Let's see, here, Vestige of Soul, right? This is number 30 of 30. I don't know if you can really see the glare.
Yeah,
but that means that there's only 30 of these in existence. Monarch was mostly of 30. Different sets have different numbers. I think newer sets have been of 45, so like 1 or 2 of 45. But that's all there is, which means that any specific artist proof is more rare than a cold foil heart.
Okay.
There's more cold foil hearts in the world than there are artist proofs of Vestiges of Soul.
That makes sense.
And so it's just the extreme collectability of them. They're unique. And then like this one's got the normal white back, but then once you start getting into some that are sketched, This is a core sim.
Oh, okay.
Then there's not any others like this in the world.
Yeah, that makes
Like,
sense.
this sketch is unique to this artist proof, and
Means
so it.
the sketch that you are holding of Corsham is the only one. This one is the only one that exists in the world, and it belongs to you.
This specific sketch,
That's,
because he did it by hand.
okay. That's
It's
that's
all,
really.
the sketches are all done by hand, so they're all unique. They have that unique factor.
Mhm. That makes sense. Also, moving on, yeah, we talked about a bit on Flesh and Blood. So, moving on, do you see Arthouse Syndicate actually expanding into other TCGs moving forward? So, this is a very interesting question. I really want to know what you guys think, or is it something like you guys just want to focus
Yeah.
on Flesh and Blood specifically for now? Maybe in the future.
The answer is yes. I can't give more information yet, but yes.
Okay. Okay.
I can foresee at some point in the near, or maybe not so near, but most likely near future,
Okay, that makes sense.
expanding into a couple others.
So, talking about future plans, okay. So you guys do really really interesting stuff. Like recently, I don't want to mispronounce the. I believe he's a Vietnamese artist that you guys made a playmat of. I believe there's only 50 of those playmat. I really like his art, but I really don't want to butcher his name and then trying to pronounce it. But I think that's one of the cool things that you guys do. Those really limited type of playmats, and then of course artist proof and stuff. So moving forward, do you guys see any other types of merchandises, or things like maybe mugs and stuff coming out of Arthouse Syndicate?
I don't think we've ever considered really mugs. That's interesting. I just don't think we've ever talked about that. For right now, I think we're gonna stick with playmats. Playmats were fun. They were, for those who were in Jersey with me, they saw me having to carry around this massive suitcase all weekend just to lug them around. That was a pain, but it got done and it was fun. We're also looking at more prints. So like right now we have Liz Hay. Her prints of Rain Razors and Talisman of Featherfoot. She actually has done hand embellishments onto those.
Oh,
So basically, they had them. They were printed, normal prints. I believe A5 size is what they were, and then she went on and painted like additional embellishments onto those.
I see.
And so it's a good mix of traditional with her digital work.
That makes sense. That's really cool. So that's basically it, Phillips. Those are my question actually. Those are some of the things that I really wanted to know, especially on more of the art side of the Flesh and Blood TCG. Because myself, I just got into knowing about you guys. So because I'm more of the gameplay side of things, competitive side, the deck building. So art is something I'm still new with, and then interviewing you actually even gave me insights into how Arthouse Syndicate works. Is there anything you want to add on?
Not that I can think of. We've got a few more things coming down the pipeline. Specifically, why I have some of these artist proofs out on my desk right now. So like Library and Vestige of Soul, Titan's Fist. I've got my first Eclipse that I ever had. But people may or may not be seeing those in Vegas.
Okay.
We're working on something with that. But yeah, nothing else I can think of.
Cool, man. Cool.
It's been a fun journey.
So guys, I'm just gonna leave the link to the website down in the description below, so you guys can check them out, get the artist proofs on them. I believe that's the best way to actually get. So you, like you mentioned, you guys are based on cycles, so there are a cycle of artists that you can buy from, I believe.
Yep. So like this coming cycle would include Kanade, Liz Hay, Vito, Siddhartha, and a couple others, I believe.
Yep.
But the full list is on the website.
All right, it's gonna be in the website. I'm gonna leave the link down in the description. You guys can check it out. So thank you very much, Philip, for actually joining me and actually taking out your time. Awesome guy, and do check them out, guys. Really, it's worth it. All right, that's it. Do like and subscribe, guys. Leave down in the comments below what you guys think about artist proofs and what you love about the art of Flesh and Blood. See you guys in the next one. Bye.
Have a good one.